Kenapa tak tidur lagi, ha?
On the edge of the city stood an abandoned building known as Blackwood High School. The school had been closed for 17 years after a mysterious incident that no one wanted to talk about. People in the town believed the building was cursed. They said that at night, the school bell still rang, even though the electricity had been cut off long ago. One cold night, 5 friends, Ali, Hamza, Sarah, Bilal, and Zarin, decided to enter the abandoned school. They were making a horror exploration video. When they pushed the rusty gate open, it made a loud creaking sound. Inside the school, everything was covered in dust. Broken lockers lined the hallways, and old student photos hung on the walls. Suddenly, the bell rang. Dong, dong. The sound echoed through the empty corridors. Sarah whispered nervously, "Did you hear that?" The bell rang again, louder this time. They followed the sound down a dark hallway until they reached classroom 13. The door slowly opened. Inside, dozens of students were sitting silently at their desks. When the 5 friends stepped inside, the students slowly turned their heads. Their eyes were completely black. One of them whispered, "New students have arrived." The door slammed shut behind them. The next morning, the police found their camera outside the school. But the 5 friends were never seen again. On the classroom blackboard, someone had written, "Class never ends." At North Valley High School, there was an old mirror in the girls' bathroom that students feared. They said if you looked into the mirror alone at night, you would see someone standing behind you. Mariam didn't believe the story. One evening, she stayed late at school to finish a project. When she walked into the bathroom, she looked at the mirror and laughed. "Just a stupid story," she said. But suddenly, she noticed something strange. In the mirror, a girl was standing behind her. Mariam turned around quickly. No one was there. She looked at the mirror again. The girl was closer now. Long black hair covered her face. Suddenly, words appeared on the mirror. "Why did you see me?" The lights went out. The bathroom door slammed shut. The next morning, students noticed something strange about Mariam. She moved slowly, strangely, and whenever she looked in a mirror, another face appeared behind her. At Blackridge High School, there was a classroom that had been locked for years, room 309. Teachers refused to talk about it. Students said something terrible had happened inside that room. One night, 4 students decided to open the door. Inside, the classroom looked frozen in time. Dust covered the desks. On the blackboard were the words, "Do not enter." Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind them. Footsteps began echoing around the room, but there was no one there. Slowly, shadows began appearing in the empty desks. Invisible students were filling the classroom. Then the chalk started writing on the board by itself. "Class has started." One by one, the students disappeared. The next morning, when the classroom door was opened, it was empty, but the attendance sheet had 4 new names. At Greenwood High School, a strict teacher named Mr. Rahman suddenly died during class. After that day, strange things began happening in the school. At night, writing appeared on the blackboard. "Finish your homework." The school janitor once saw a classroom light still on late at night. When he entered, he saw a man writing on the board. It was Mr. Rahman, but his eyes were completely black. He slowly turned and said, "The students are still here." The janitor looked behind him. Dozens of dark shadows were sitting at the desks, watching, waiting. The classroom was sealed forever after that night. Under Iron Gate High School, there was an old basement that had been locked for decades. No one was allowed to enter. People said several students had disappeared there many years ago. One night, 5 students broke the lock and went inside. The basement was cold and damp. Strange symbols covered the walls. Then they heard children laughing. At the end of the hallway was a door. On it were the words, "Detention Room." They opened the door. Inside, dozens of students were standing facing the wall. Slowly, they all turned around. Their eyes were missing, and they all spoke at once. "You are late." The door slammed shut. Those 5 students were never seen again. But sometimes, people still hear voices from the basement saying, "Next class is starting."